It is crazy how much better this setting is other than the one downstairs.
It's night and day.
Yeah.
Like this feels right. Downstairs felt like you said, a fucking newsroom.
Yeah. And I like the white background with your chocolatey black skin because it definitely helps you like stand out.
Chocolatey. That's the first time I ever heard that.
You better believe it.
I hear when I'm at home, I hear white chocolate. I get almond. What's it called me? Caramel.
Caramel's a little too light, I think. Caramel on the stove longer than it should be, maybe. But caramel, I think I'm more caramel than you.
Yeah, you would, motherfucker. You fucking super light skinned.
And I'm sweet.
Oh my god. Oh my god. You was setting me up for that. Like I see the bait now. I be thinking we having regular conversations, but you're baiting me in the conversation.
Nah.
Yeah.
There's never any there's no end goal when I start a conversation.
Bullshit.
I just let it flow.
You know that's why you're so good at that fucking game Chameleon. Cause you will look everything you said about retail and just learning how to lie to people dead in the face, you meant that shit.
You know, the biggest thing is never knowing what you're gonna do next, right? If I don't know what I'm gonna say next, you can't predict me, right? You can't predict stupid. So you're not gonna look at me and know what I'm about to do because I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. And that's how it is.
Bro, you're not even lying. Because
Bro, when a customer come in and start asking me for something, up until maybe their last word, I'm trying to decide how serious I'm going to take what they're asking.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might want to do my job very well.
Right.
I also might not want to, or I might half-ass it. I'll make my decision based on how you ask the question. And that's how most of my conversations go. It depends on what you're saying, how invested I am, and where it's going to go.
And they let a motherfucker like you get a job at a health shop. Yeah. You were selling vitamins to people.
People used to show up and fucking try to show me their blood work.
And then ask you for recommendations.
Yep.
That's valid.
Nah.
How long did you work at Vitamin Shop?
Like 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
God damn. So like straight out of high school, or were you in high school?
Kinda. So like I got out of high school 2011, right? Started working at GameStop. But I was like 18. I didn't feel like fucking working, and I just started dating Alina as I'm just trying to go chill with her and shit, right?
Right.
So attendance wise, it was hard. I was always calling out. I was never late. But then somehow it was like a seasonal job. They were like, "Do you want to stay on?" I was like, "Sure."
Right.
So I was there for like 8 months until I ended up getting fired. That's one that's never on the resume.
Because you're 18.
Then I started working at Rite Aid. My sister helped me get that job. And it was 2 weeks overnight because they were like renovating the building and shit. So we had to do like planograms and all this, blah, blah, blah. So those 2 weeks was overnight. Like, what was it? Like, I think you go in at 8, get out at 6, right? And then after the 2 weeks, it was like, well, we're going back to regular day shift. We're not overnight anymore. And I was like, all right. And I just fucking hated it. It was in Broad and Lehigh. Bro, fucking
Overnight?
It was overnight, yeah, but it was chilling overnight. We had a security guard who fell asleep the entire time.
Right.
And I remember the manager there was fucking furious, and he tried to get the security guard fired. I was, again, 18 at the time, so I was like, trying to get this man fired. He just sleeping.
Right.
But honestly, he's responsible for all of our lives. So now I get it.
Right.
But yeah, then day shift started, and it was just fucking annoying. People would really go in that Rite Aid like 5 times a day. Literally had nothing fucking better to do. I remember there was this one time where a couple came in. I don't, boy and some chick. And I'm just standing there behind the fucking register waiting to bring somebody up. And dude just starts yelling at the bitch, right? Just fucking yelling. And she's like cowering a little bit, like she's scared. And the whole staff was pretty much women, which now I'm kind of thinking back, it's kind of a theme. I work with a lot of women all the time.
Clearly.
But it was pretty much all women, and then just me and I think one other dude who worked in the pharmacy. So yeah, dude starts yelling at the chick, and I'm just standing there. It's none of my fucking business. I don't know what she said or did to be, it's not. I'm not in that relationship. But then like the store manager, who was a woman, comes over and starts yelling at the dude, right? Then like 3 other women came out of the woodwork, start yelling at the dude. He starts yelling at all of them. Somebody starts calling the cops, right? He leaves. She's in there. The lady's like crying. Then they start looking at me like acting like, why didn't you say nothing? That's not on me. I don't even know why y'all said anything. I don't fucking know. And then the dude from the pharmacy came out and was like, yo, what happened? This, and that. And they explained, and they was like, oh, nah, y'all fucked it up. And there was like, why? We helped her. They was like, no, you made it worse because she gonna leave and he's gonna see her regardless, whether it's today or tomorrow, and whoop her ass even harder because y'all wanted to step in and create this whatever situation. And I was like, that's kind of valid. So that was Rite Aid. I was there. I was literally there for 3 weeks, and I was like, I'm not fucking doing this. I wasn't doing it. Also, I got wrong. I still convinced I got fired like wrongfully there because I called and I was like, yo, can you let me know what the schedule is? All right. And I don't know her name. Let's just say Sherry was like, oh yeah, no, you off tomorrow, but you back here on Friday. I was like, cool. So then the day that she said I was off, I didn't show up. And then like halfway through that shift, the store manager's calling me like, yo, where are you? I'm like, Sherry said I didn't have to come in. No, you're on the schedule. I was like, no, she told me I was off. And then she was like, yelling that it's my responsibility, not hers, this, and that. And then next thing you know, I got like a text message that I was off the schedule indefinitely. I was like, whatever, I don't give a fuck.
What a pussy move. He text you? He even called
you? After that, I started working at the Parks casinos with the racetrack, like the racehorses. That was fucking horrible.
At 19?
Yeah, horrible. So you would have to wake up at like 3 or 4 in the morning, go all the way up there. And there's a bunch of different barns owned by different people, right? So depending on who you're working for, varies on the pay that you get. So, and my dad was working there at the time, so he was like, oh, you're not about to not have a job, right? Because God fucking forbid. So he go up there, and then I start working for the cheapest bitch in the fucking entire place, bro, who was paying me like $5 a horse. He had like 5 horses, so I would have to get there, right? Walk them each around the barn to warm them up. Then they go to the track. While they're at the track, I got to clean up their fucking stalls, all right? Then they come back. Then we walk them again to cool them down. Then we got to give them a bath. Then we got to feed them, right?
That's a lot of fucking
It's a lot of work to get for $25 a day. Dude.
At
right?
Parks?
Yeah.
That's got to be illegal, bro.
So at the end of the week, because it was literally like no days off. You were working 7 days. So it was like, what, 25 times 7, whatever that is. Not a lot. My pop, who got me the job, was working for somebody else who was paying him like $600 a week to do the same shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why I gotta work for this dude getting paid maybe $150? Well, you getting paid $600 to do the same shit. And then when I remember I told him, he was like, well, you gotta work up to it. I'm like, what? I'm not about to, how long? How long I gotta work for the worst dude here to start making the same money that everybody else is making? I was there for a week. Literally, because I remember we were like giving the horse a bath, right? And he was like, the dude was like, hold the horse while he's doing it. And the horse starts getting a little crazy, so you gotta like yank the chain, right? So like I yank it, and the horse was still kind of, wilding. So the dude goes, give me the fucking chain. I go, whatever, fucking do it. And then I just walked away. Then the next day he waits for me to come in at 5, whatever in the morning, and goes, yeah, don't say whatever to me, you're fired. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, yesterday we were giving the horse a bath. You said whatever. I was like, all right, whatever. And then I just walked away to where my dad was working. I was like, let me get the key. I'm just going to sleep in the car. And then I came back like the day after that to get my last pay. I was like, fuck it.
Another fucking $25 you spent that to go down and get the fucking check.
Then after I worked there, where did I work? I had so many fucking jobs.
Yeah,
I worked at McDonald's for 2 days.
Yo, you might have the shortest fucking work history in the history of legal Americans. Remind you, everybody listening, this motherfucker making $25 a day, a fucking U.S. citizen.
Yep. So 2 days, and my man Glenn helped me get that job. So till this day, he still bring it up because he says it's my fault that I just stopped going, and he had recommended me. So he ended up getting fired like a few weeks later or some shit.
Working for the same dude.
Working for the same dude.
Wow.
So he says it like it was because that I kind of fucked him over and the dude kind of held him responsible. So I was like, I don't know.
You did him a fucking favor.
Yeah. Because then we started working at Sykes, which is a call center for Nikon cameras. So whenever people be like, oh, my camera doesn't work, we would troubleshoot with them. We would send them information on how to get it repaired. I was there for like 10 months maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the longest one out of all the other ones. But I had a hard, up until I think Vitamin Shop, attendance was always my big, I never wanted to fucking work. I didn't feel like going anywhere. So like I would always call out. I was always go in late, or I would find a reason to leave early.
Yeah.
So after like 10 months, they was like, nah, dude, you're never here. And then I ended up getting fired. That's another one that's not on the resume. And then after that, that's when I started working at Vitamin Shop. And then I stayed there for 8 years.
And then you relapsed. Yeah. Like, oh, I'm going to go here for a month.
Bro, and then after 8 years at Vitamin Shop, I was like, fuck this place. And then I interviewed at Party City.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
And they were like, but the dude is his fault. This fucking district
It's
manager.
everybody else's fault.
It's never mine. I'm never accountable for my actions. Because of his wording. Right, he was like, "Yo, we're gonna bring you on to Party City as an assistant manager." He said that he can pay me more than what Vitamin Shop was paying me, or match it.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Okay, I'm cool with that." But then he said, "But the way that we're gonna move forward, because this was around September, he was like, I'm gonna have you be the store manager of a what is it like Halloween store that's
Spirit
of Halloween, whatever's under the umbrella of Party City." And he was like, and if you do well there, then we'll bring you on over here. And I remember talking to Alina. I was like, well, this is what he said. She was like, what do you mean if you do well there? So what's going to happen if he's not satisfied with the way you perform? Are you fired and then you don't have a job after October? And I was like, I don't know. So because of that, it was kind of like, do I take it or do I find something else? Because that's not a for sure. His wording was too questionable.
Yeah.
So then I interviewed at Jose Bank, which was another. It was like, oh, you never worked with clothes. So I was taking a little bit of a pay cut from Vitamin Shop, but I wanted to leave Vitamin Shop so bad that I was like, fine, right? And I remember, bro, I was fucking over so many people in such a small window because
at a fucking department store.
So I remember I was supposed to start work. Like, let's say Monday, right? It's Friday. Jose Bank just said, yeah, we'll take you. And I was like, cool. They was like, you start Monday. I was like, all right, bet. Saturday, I got a text message from Party City Bowl that was like, hey, everything's set up to get you started on Monday. We're expecting you there at 9 a.m. Does that work? I was like, yep, I'll be there. With zero intentions because I just got the job at Jose Bank, right? But then I get a phone call also that same Saturday for Lowe's as the overnight department manager to interview. And they were like, whenever you can come in, the soonest the better. I was like, I could come in today, right? So they was like, perfect. So I went in, interviewed, and on the spot, they offered me the job for overnight department manager, and they paid more than Vitamin Shop. So I was like, fuck, yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Monday starts. They were like, we're going to have you come in Monday. I was like, all right. And I go to Lowe's. I'm getting phone calls from Jose Bank. Like, hey, where are you? This, and that. I just never.
It's like, fuck off.
I'm not picking up the phone. I'm not calling you. They was like texting me. And I know they called because he knew I worked at the Vitamin Shop. Somebody told me that he called the Vitamin Shop.
He
that
called
I worked
your
for.
fucking job looking for you to come to the new job. That's funny.
Like, no. So then I started working at Lowe's. And I was there for a month. And so I got a phone call from BJ's and was like, hey, we kind of siphoned your name or your resume from our website. We're looking for an overnight manager. I was like, all right, whatever. The addiction of quitting jobs is just so satisfactory that I will interview with anybody if it's gonna fuck somebody else over. So I go and interview at BJ's, and they're like, oh yeah, it's 40 hours a week. We're fully staffed. We just need somebody to guide the team in the right direction. They were like, are you forklift certified?
Don't tell me you said yes.
At the time, I wasn't, and I said yes, right? And then I went, they were like, oh, cool, perfect, right?
Oh, my God.
So I was still working at Lowe's, and you have to get certified at Lowe's if you're the overnight department manager, right? So I went that day to work at Lowe's, or that night, and I was like, yo, can I get certified? Like, I have to get, like, I don't know, I can't. And they were like, yeah, we're going to get you. So they, like, fast-tracked me to get certified. So I could just have the paperwork that said I was certified so that, I could have it. As soon as I put my 2 weeks in. And then I started working at BJ's.
Oh my God, bro.
And then I get to BJ's, and it's not just me lying to these people. They lied to me about everything. So it wasn't 40 hours a week. It was like 55 to 60 hours a week. They were not fully staffed. I was doing the job of like 3 different department managers while trying to empty out 2 full trucks
overnight.
They were like, and I wasn't allowed to leave until the trucks were emptied, all the pallets were away, and the floors cleaned. So I'll get there at 10 p.m. and I wouldn't be leaving till 11 a.m., 12 o'clock the next day if everything's not fucking cleaned.
Wow.
So I was like, nah, I'm not fucking doing that.
Yeah.
And then that's when I interviewed at Lens Crafters, and they brought me on to paying me. It was a little less because BJ's, because they knew they tried to fuck me.
Yeah,
and I kept.
No, they did fuck you.
Yeah, and I kept voicing my opinion on how they fucked me. They kept throwing money at me. Right, it was like, all right, so we'll give you this much now, and I was like, cool, just don't go nowhere. I was like, I'm not going nowhere. And then like a week went by, and I'm like, this fucking sucks. And they're like, well, the DM's coming in. I think we can get you approved for a little more money. I was like, all right, but just don't go nowhere. They kept telling me. And I was like, I'm here. I'm working here.
You know what you are? An exotic stripper. Because that's the same shit that motherfuckers who go to the strip club think. Like, oh, yeah, she going to love me. I'm just giving all my money. She going to do whatever I want. You're like, oh, yeah, I got you. Whole time, fucking Jose outside waiting in the fucking car with the seats warmed up. That's some shit. That's some shit.
Yikes. Yeah.
Yeah. That's you.
Bro, and then I got hired at Lens Crafters, all right? And I just stopped going to BJ's, all right? And then I blocked all of them too. I went on my phone, all right? Blocked the manager, blocked the assistant manager, blocked the other dude that was training me. Right? But then I got a phone call from their fucking loss prevention. It was like, we need the key back. If you're not coming in, you can't have the key. They left a voicemail because I'm not picking up the fucking phone.
Yeah.
So I was like, fine. I put the key in an envelope, and then I put the general manager's name, and then I put like George's keys. I went there during the day. I knew the chick kind of that was working at the fucking front. I was like, here, make sure you give this to so-and-so. I forget her name. And she goes, you quit already? I was like, that's my keys. So she was like, okay. So I gave her the envelope with the key. I walked out. I went in the car. I unblocked the general manager. I was like, I gave so-and-so the keys, so just leave me alone. Sent. Blocked her again. And then I started working at Lens Crafters. I was there for like 8 months, 9 months. Until now, I got a new job. I'm not going to say where right now because I'm still there. For now. So.
Yo, that's hilarious, bro. I think first time I worked overnight might have been when I was in college. My junior year in college, I worked overnight at Walgreens. And it was a fucking nightmare. First of all, I'm working in Irvington, New Jersey. This is like around the corner from my school.
Okay.
But literally in this little ass neighborhood, you ever seen New Jack City?
No.
All right, so just imagine fucking high-rise project buildings. That's what this whole fucking neighborhood looks like, but they're apartments. So it's like people making fucking good money are renting these ugly-ass buildings. I can't even remember what the name of their fucking buildings were called, but working at Walgreens overnight. You used to get the craziest fucking people in there, bro. Like the fucking craziest. I'm working from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. and then going straight to class from there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, bro. I was like getting my ass kicked. Teacher thought I was on drugs. I'm like, bitch, I don't know what you want me to do. like school shit is expensive. But I'll never forget one night, this dude, we called him Built for Bikes because he would walk like this. This dude came in and he always stink. Like, I think he was homeless or something, but I'm not sure because he like always wore these nice, ugly ass Kangol hats. And he had a bike. He had a bicycle. So it made more sense.
I mean, if he did it, I'd be really more confused at
the nickname, right? Yeah, but not. So maybe he got his posture like that from riding fucking bikes his whole life. I don't know. But I'll never forget the motherfucker came into the fucking shop. It's only me and one other person, my manager. Sometimes there was like a third person, but it was like basically we're short staffed. And he came into the fucking store. He walked up to the middle, like here's the counter where the registers are. He walked into the middle between the registers and the fucking aisles and just started pissing on himself. Just started pissing on himself in the middle of the floor. And I let that shit sit there for 6 hours until the morning staff came in, bro. I'm not cleaning that. Like, are y'all fucking crazy? That was the first time I worked overnight. I hated that shit.
I would have been sick if I come in from a fucking early morning shift.
Yeah.
And there's piss on the floor, and Larry's like, "Yeah, homeless dude or whatever, piss in aisle 3." When was this? 6 hours ago. It's like, what the fuck?
I don't give a fuck. Like, wasn't nobody in there that gonna do nothing to me that I ain't already fucking been through. I'm like, yeah, fuck y'all. I'm out. I wasn't staying there anyway. It's like fucking managers trying to talk me out of dropping out of college to do this full time. I'm like, bitch, I paid them $50,000 at this point. You think I'm gonna fucking stop for Walgreens overnight?
Yeah, but we
shift?
could promise you $12 an hour.
Well, I don't even think I was getting that shit. I was getting like $10 an hour for overnight. That shit is
that's
brutal.
bad. Yeah, that's bad.
Brutal. I was like, yeah, fuck this. And then after that, I got kicked out of college. I don't think I ever told you the college story. I was in my fucking senior year. It was winter break, right before winter break. So it was like a 2-week window where you're not in classes, or maybe it was a week. Whatever it was. Before we went on winter break, they basically said, yeah, you got to come up with $5,000 before you come back to class next week, or you're getting kicked the fuck out. So I'm just looking at the fucking financial aid lady who's been helping me this whole time get through all my classes because I was so fucking broke. I didn't qualify for anything, but got a bunch of fucking grant money for poor people. so they paid for everything basically outside the loans. And then looking at her, she looking at me. I'm like, you're the fucking expert here. Like, where do I come up with $5,000 in a week?
Yep.
And she was like, I don't know. We'll try and figure it out. My ass was back in Philly, and that was the end of it. And then from there, I got into real estate. So it's pretty much how I had a much softer job history, kind of like.
I'm like, here's my 17 jobs before I got to where I am.
It took you 25 minutes just to name the motherfuckers. Like, I don't think I've ever heard anybody have that many fucking jobs.
Yeah.
And you're not even 30 yet. That's crazy.
That's an accomplishment. If anything.
That's fucking crazy.
A lot of people be
That's
like,
an
no, George.
accomplishment, bro. If you was a whore, you would have the worst whore resume of all time. Like, yeah, 175 bodies.
Isn't that a good resume? Isn't a whore supposed to get bodies?
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Damn.
If a whore was like, I fucked a lot of dudes, I got a lot of tricks up my sleeve, you're gonna be like, my pillow.
Because at that point, she's an experienced professional. You're paying for the mileage. Damn, that's a good point. I gotta walk that one back. I can't think of another analogy, so I'm just gonna give you the W.
None, all right.
Yeah, you get the win for sure.
That's 26 minutes of me explaining my work, my job description.
I ain't even gonna hold you. I was thinking to myself, like, God damn, this motherfucker done worked everywhere.
Bro, I've worked too many places, and then nothing is mine. Like, I can't put my fucking name on shit.
Bro, if they had your job history on a wiki page, it would be at least the whole first page.
Bro, and then when you apply somewhere, you'd be like, oh yeah, I've worked at 3 places. And then you just kind of tweak the resume. When I was working where I'm working at now, they had the most extensive background check I've ever gone through
for something that requires
like it's like nothing. I'm not applying to be a doctor or fucking like it's a nothing job. Right. And they had the most extensive background where I was getting emailed from the people doing the background check like, oh well, on your resume it says that you were working at so and so from this time to that time, but when we did your background check, it comes in as it was a much smaller window. I'm like, I must have been a typo when I fucking typed it in. I don't know what to tell you.
They can find that kind of shit?
They found it. They're doing too much.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
I was like, oh fuck, I'm not gonna.
Yo, I think we really like don't even fully appreciate technology. I went to fucking Macy's and I had an American Express card. I put that shit in. Never used it in a fucking Macy's. And then they said, oh, do you want a receipt emailed to your email address? How the fuck do y'all have my email address? And I've never used this card here, and I didn't give it to her. Yeah. And the teller couldn't even tell me. She was like,
we know where you are.
This is some scary shit. So I'm sure the government watches piss and all kind of shit.
They're in for something special.
They gonna find out you sit down?
Oh, every time. I just go in the tub and I sit in the tub.
Oh, you so wow. You taking a baby piss.
like a 3-year-old.
Like a fucking.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I definitely like the Georgia's Thought of the Day idea. Mm-hmm. So why don't we give the people the first Georgia's Thought of the Day for the Man Cave podcast?
All right. So what I was just thinking casually, right? I'm just watching TV, and it just dawns on me as to why is it, right, when we're going on a long drive, whether it may be 2 hours, an hour, whatever it may be, if it's a long drive, who's driving? Is it the man or is it the woman? And why is it the man? And if it is, well, we'll get to the part as to what me and you think when we're driving and we see a man in the passenger seat and a woman driving. But we'll get there. Initially, I just want to know what you think as to when you are going on a long trip, why do you even have a conversation as to who's driving? Or you both instinctively, you get in the driver, she gets in the passenger, there's no conversation.
Yeah.
Why?
Number one, I think my mother and grandmother kind of like abused me. My mother and my grandmother abused me. The minute I got my driver's license, it was like, oh, I need to go to blah, blah, blah. I need to go. And since you're still learning how to drive, why don't you take me? Like, perfect fucking cop out. Sure. So I didn't realize, like, I wanted to drive so bad when I was a fucking kid. I'm like, man, I can't wait to drive and get the fuck away from here. Never got to do homework. I'm out.
You driving away from your homework?
Yeah, exactly. Bro, I used to pray for fucking God to take me out of my house when I had to do homework. Like, God, get me away from here. I hate it here. All for homework. But nah, like the minute I learned how to drive, and my mother didn't feel like she was gonna die every time she got behind the wheel, because I have the most like over exaggerating like parent driver of all time. Like the minute I make a turn, she grabbing on stuff. Larry, slow down. Like I'm driving with the brake. What do you want me? How fucking slow do you want me to go right now? But yeah, so it started there. Once they got it in my head that, women just don't drive, not like
women don't want to drive. Is that what we're getting to? Women truly do not want to drive.
And they're going to argue that it's all women, not all. You're generalizing, yeah, but like, really, who the fuck wants to drive?
Yeah, I fucking hate it.
Yeah, I fucking hate it.
I can't fucking stand it.
Yeah, so I think when I first met my girlfriend, she just was like, "Oh, well, you're gonna drive, right?" Like, and once she said that, it was the way she said it. I was like, okay.
And your first mistake was to give in and be like, "No, you're gonna fucking drive."
Yeah. Like, yeah, I'm not driving.
Would that have been a fucking like a red flag for her?
Most likely,
right? If you guys get together on a first date,
yeah,
and she knows you got a car, you know she got a car, right? And you tell her, pick me up at 7. Mm-hmm. She was like, what the fuck?
She went, okay. Or do you not drive?
Like, why is that not okay?
Yeah. The first
Why
thought
is that not okay?
Okay, he doesn't have a car.
But she knows you got a car. Like, let's say in this situation,
Uh-huh.
100% you guys met somewhere where you know you have a car, she has a car. 100%. Not even a question. He
Okay.
has a car, right? And you talk. Is it because you asked her out, I guess? So if you go to her and be like, hey, you trying, maybe we go out to dinner, and she goes, yes, and then you say, okay, cool, you can pick me up at 7.
Yeah, I think you're gonna mind fuck her because you're asking her out and then telling her to pick you up.
Yeah.
Like that would fuck me up. Like if a girl came up to me and said, "Yeah, do you want to go out with me?" All right, well, pick me. I'm like,
Women do that all the time, though.
Nah,
you
that's
see that a lot. Like, hey, you can take me out, pick me up at so and so time. Now it's a privilege that you get to pick her up,
yeah, that's a good point.
Right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
but it's never a privilege that she got to scoop your ass.
It's a chore at that point.
Yeah.
yeah.
And you made that decision that you wasn't driving.
You know, I've come to the realization that anytime women have to do manual labor, it's like a red flag for them.
Well, it's called manual labor,
Oh, okay.
right? So they don't want to do. It's not womanual labor.
Unless you're talking about the fucking homeowner's manual, then it's, well, why is it a manual when we can't own homes? Like, fucking, you can't win.
No,
For
it's a
sure.
lose-lose.
Yeah, so definitely on a long drive, I'm the one driving. It's not even a question.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not even a
Right?
question.
Because you want to get there alive. That's the first thing that I think gets in my head.
Oh my God,
is-
George.
I'm driving because I want to get there.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not trying to get the cars, in a ditch. Not that, women can't drive.
Sounds like what you're saying.
But I'd rather be responsible because I know I can drive.
Oh, George, wow.
Bro, even like there are situations where I'm like, whatever may be happening, maybe I don't feel good. Da, 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 da. Like me and Alina's have been together long enough
Yeah.
where I don't have to prove shit to her,
Yeah.
right? But still, I have to be like, can you drive? And it's never like, sure. It's always, why? Because I fucking asked you to drive. Like, what do you mean? Now I got to explain,
Yeah.
well, I don't feel good. I got a headache. Or maybe my fucking left eye, like something's going on. Can you just fucking drive?
Right.
No, it's like, yeah, you got to explain yourself.
Oh my God.
But even in those situations where I ask her to drive,
Yeah.
I'd be like, we start driving. I'm like,
How
I'm
long-
never comfortable because like I got to pay attention. I feel
Yo.
right.
Like between us, well, obviously not between us now because we got fucking
Just-
microphones.
I'm not telling nobody.
I'm telling on my fucking self. I was thinking about that shit earlier. I was in the car and I wanted to take a nap so bad. I'm like, I'm fucking exhausted. Went to the gym earlier. I'm just laying there on the fucking passenger seat because she was like, "Oh, I'll drive so you can take a nap." I was like, "Oh, that's so nice. Holy shit!" But I'm laying there and I could not fucking sleep because
Never,
I'm like,
never gonna be comfortable.
she like, "Oh, your brakes." Like, oh, I'm like, "Oh shit, here we go."
Already.
Something wrong with the fucking brakes. Soon as you get on the fucking steering wheel, we hit a fucking sidewalk. Oops. Like, oh, bruh, this is about to be a fucking disaster. Let me just go ahead and put my seatbelt on.
Bro, I remember when we were moving into the crib,
Yeah.
right? I think we had a U-Haul truck. Or maybe it was just Alina's uncle van or some shit, right? And we had an argument or some shit, right? Surprise, surprise. I started an argument where I was like, fuck it, you drive.
Yeah.
Right? And we're going down the road and I see that she's a little too fucking far right. She about to clip somebody's car, right? Now I got a decision to make. Do I tell her and then now I'm going to get yelled at because she knows how to drive, right? Oh, you don't I see it, right? And then whatever, I get yelled at. Or I don't tell her and she clips somebody's car and I get yelled at because I didn't tell her, right? So in my head, I'm like, it's a lose-lose, but one of those is more satisfactory to me than the other. So I didn't say shit. And she clipped somebody with a side mirror, right? And all you hear is the crack. And the side mirror, this one comes in, right? And I'm just like looking and I'm like, she goes, what the fuck was that? I was like, you hit somebody's side mirror. And then again, she starts yelling as to why I didn't say that she was gonna hit.
Wow.
And I was like, "You, for what? You know how to drive, right? Like it's not. I don't need to tell you." And now that's a whole argument,
Yeah.
right? But now I have that
Yeah.
where I'm like, at least I never clip somebody's side.
Wow. How long y'all been together?
11 years.
And you're that petty.
Yes, and it's never not going to be that petty. Like I
Oh
know she's that petty. I'm just matching energy,
Oh my God.
right? At some point, you got to play their game.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
So let them drive sometimes so that they can hit something,
That shit is hard not to.
and
It's
then
hard.
you got a little bit of ammunition.
Yeah, I've been learning how to be less of that, and I just feel like it's so hard. This is like, if I go down this rabbit hole, I'm not gonna win, because I don't
about
have
winning.
that. No,
It's-
it is
it's
for
not-
me.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay,
like
okay.
if I'm in a fucking argument, I don't want to argue. I do that shit enough for work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, if I gotta argue, then I want to fucking win. You're not gonna beat me in this fucking argument
Okay,
because it's obviously something petty anyway. Because usually I just let shit slide. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
now it's like, all right, we gonna do this. All right, cool. Let's fucking do it then. Like I'm gonna match energy, and then I'll be like, damn, man. She done brought up all this shit I did, or she fucking running laps around me in this argument, and I look fucking stupid.
Yeah, so you got to be ready for that part, right? Like, obviously they know they keep too much information
Remember
in
every
there
fucking thing.
in order to just shoot it back at you. I might remember one thing
Yeah.
out of the 15 they said, but if I do remember that one thing, while she's spitting out the other 12, I'm not really listening to the other 12. In my head, I'm like, yeah, I fucking got her with that one. Man. She's still going. I'm like, yeah, I know that one really got her. It probably didn't, but I know I got to hype myself up. for her.
Right. I think for me, like deep down, it's the fact that if I drive, that alleviates me from having to do other things. Like I'm not a fucking great cook. She's a phenomenal cook. I don't want to eat my own fucking cooking. So at least if I drive, I can say, well, the least you can do is prepare dinner tonight. I fucking just drove for 6 hours. Like, so you know, I got
So
a
that's how
trump
you
card.
work it out, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give and take, you know.
I guess. I never thought, like, hey, she drived, I'll make dinner. I always thought she's also cooking.
You're a blessed dude, because I guess that's like one of the things that you got to be conscious of. I don't know how Elena is in a relationship, obviously, but I know with Abby, it's like, bruh, it's like a constant power battle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, who's going to get moved off the ground today? So it's like, oh, bruh, if I let her fucking drive, I will never fucking hear the end of this shit. So I cannot put myself through this, bro.
Yeah, that is a fact.
Yeah.
Like, if she do that drive for 2 hours, you don't hear that shit for the rest of the fucking day. And there's definitely not a conversation of who's driving back. It's definitely not her. Because she did it here.
Right.
Right?
Right. What other kind of things do y'all argue about?
Too many, man.
What was
So-
the most recent one?
Recent one. I mean, it's always the baby now, right? It's
Okay.
Eli. Because it's who's gonna change the diaper and shit, who's
Yeah.
gonna wash the bottles, this and that. See, I work more than she do.
Yeah.
Right? So
Well,
like
she's fucking, what, 8 months pregnant?
not that far.
Oh,
I think
okay.
she's like 6.
6, that's right.
Right. I know that because I got yelled at for not knowing that. we went to my sister's baby shower.
Yeah.
And my aunt was like, "Oh, how many months is she?" I was like, 3. And then you just hear her yelling, 5? I was like, "Fuck, 5?" And then you got to keep playing it off like, "What fucking month are we in?" Oh,
Yeah.
shit, I thought we was in like
Damn,
July.
time flying. I can't even keep up. My bad, babe.
But yeah, so like, see, the thing is like, I'll come home from work and then like, automatically, like, I play with the baby. I'll give him a bath, change him, or I'll ask her to change him because like I want to take a bath because I've been at work all day. But God forbid I don't wash the fucking bottles.
Uh,
Like, You're home. Wash the bottles. But I'll wash them every now and again, and then I'll remember that I washed it that one time,
And then as soon as you get in an argument,
and
you
I'm
got
content.
clip loaded.
Yeah, I'm like, nah, because I know I washed the dishes, and
Right.
if she says when, I'll be like, last time,
Right.
and like, when was last time? Oh, the last time I washed the dish. I don't know.
Yo, I have to fucking do a better job of paying attention to shit. I'm never specific in my arguments. She'll be like, "You didn't blah blah blah." I'm like, "Yes, I did. Just like a week ago." That's Larry. That was 4 months ago. I'll be like, "Damn, she right. I gotta fucking do a better job of holding on to shit."
Yeah, I'm bad at that too.
I think the last argument this was yesterday. I was going to go meet her parents for the first time, and there's this thing that happens whenever we have plans, right? So I'm like, I work for myself in real estate, so I have to plan my calendar on my own, and I have to be at all my fucking appointments on time. But she lives in Jersey, so it's over the bridge. So I don't know how often you go to Jersey, but
Never.
sporadically, there's always like fucking crazy amount of traffic between Philly and Jersey. And for some reason, every time I have plans with her to go pick her up or go out to eat, that's the day where it's crazy traffic. So I'm like, fuck. We were supposed to leave for her parents' house at like 10:30 yesterday. So I'm like taking my time. I'm like, we had some other stuff that we were going to do, so we canceled that. So I'm not thinking like I need to be in a huge rush. Plus, I'm on time anyway. So I'm like, all right, blah, blah, blah. I get to fucking 95. And no lie, Google Maps said there's a 36-minute slowdown on your route. So I screenshot it and I sent it to her. I'm thinking like, oh, bro, this is my get out of jail free card because I'm already sitting here and I didn't even realize I'm like sitting in traffic. This shit's not going anywhere. So I look at the highway. Fucking cars are reversing off the highway to go like take a different exit. So I sent it to her. I'm like, damn, look at this shit, babe. It's 36-minute slowdown. Oh, wow. I'm like, fuck. I'm going to hear this shit when I get home, bruh. So I fucking finagled that, got out of the fucking jam. I took another route. It was like, oh, you're going to get there at 10:30. I'm like, oh, perfect. I'm like, listen, I had already told her I was going to get her breakfast. So I'm like, all right, what do you want from Starbucks? I'll stop. I'll get it. Yeah. Fucking Starbucks line around the block. I'm like, oh my God. On my way there, she's like, because it made it even worse. On my way there, she was like, oh, don't worry about the Starbucks. I will get it myself. And I'm like, no, I'm already driving. Like, I got it. So I'm on time. So I'm like, all right. Get there. Line's fucking crazy. So I'm sitting there for 25 minutes. I finally get her shit. We're arguing now because we're fucking late. And I'm always late, according to her. So we get there. And I pull off with her stuff. I get to the house. She come out. And I'm like, fuck, man. Like, we got a 2.5-hour drive to go see her parents. Let me try to, like, de-escalate the situation. So she gets in. We're talking. Trying to calm shit down. Putting on my man hat. I'm like, listen, I don't want to spend the next 2.5 hours. There's no cream cheese on my bagel. Yo, I was like, I should have fucking checked. But we were arguing. And now there's another fucking argument. And I can't win this one because the proof is in the fucking bread. So mid-conversation, she got out the car, went and asked her on fucking cream cheese on the bagel. And I was like, yeah. What's the address? Like, let's just fucking go, bro.
No, that's an L all around.
Oh, my God.
Somebody that's been in a relationship for 11 years.
Yeah.
Your first mistake is getting to breakfast. If I'm running late, you just gonna have to eat that. I'll get there when I get there. If I did hit a little maneuver to get there on time, then we on time.
Yeah.
I'm not about to break away to go get break, especially if I get there and there's a line.
Yeah.
Nah. You beat. You're not getting that breakfast.
I guess.
Because what's worse? What is worse? You get there without breakfast and now she's mad about that, but now y'all on your way. Or you get there with the wrong shit. So in that situation yesterday, would you had rather just like, all right, now we just going. You didn't get the breakfast, but you're on the way. Now you just have the conversation about the traffic. But now y'all having a whole argument on fucking cream cheese. You just added a different layer, another thing
No pun
to be
intended.
disappointed. Yeah, another thing for her to be disappointed at you.
Yeah.
When you just could have cut that out and just went straight there. If you already running late and the line's long, you eating that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this whole conversation came into because women want to let their men drive for them. That's how this conversation started.
That's crazy. Yeah. We went down a rabbit hole for sure.
Nothing wrong with that. This is the first episode.
Yeah.
There was no real topic of conversation in this
Yeah.
one. Just allow people to get an idea of who we are and some of our, sense of humor and the way that we think. And I think the last few minutes was perfect for that.
I agree.
So I hope people really do enjoy it, and I hope they come back. Did you want to give? I mean, I know you spoke a little bit about having your therapist on.
Yeah.
In order to have a conversation about mental health, men's mental health specifically, because we're men.
Yeah.
But any other ideas moving forward outside of that you might want to let people know in order to build some excitement or whatever? Do you have any?
Absolutely. So let me double check real quick. Yeah, actually, this one's like a burning question for me since you're currently dealing with this now. What I wish I knew before starting a family. I mean, as though you're on your second kid now, I think you have a lot of good advice and kind of like stories to share with people on your trials and getting to daddyhood.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get there to that episode, but just as a sneak peek, maybe one little tip I'll leave out to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Things I knew before I became a dad is get out as quick as you can.
Get out of what exactly? You
her
talking about pull out methods.
If it's getting out of her or just getting out of the situation,
Oh my god.
You could always start over. No, I'm fucking with you.
Yo.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot of things that I could talk about that I wish I knew before going in. I think that'll make for a good episode. Obviously, I'm not going to go into it now because it's kind of redundant.
For sure.
But yeah, I think it'll be a good one.
Yeah, I have fun with you, George.
Yeah?
Don't take this crazy.
I don't know where you
Yeah,
thought I was going to take it. I
don't.
just want to say, what kind of fun did you have?
I had.
Are you aroused? Because if not, then we didn't really have fun, did we?
Oh my god, bro. Yeah, I give it 3 episodes. 3 episodes, and somebody's gonna be pulling this shit down, for sure.
I'm trying to pull something down. You
Oh
feel me?
my god. Yeah, I'm Larry, and this is George. This is the man cave. We're getting the fuck out of here.